Hey friends, it's Mrs. Walker. For our lesson today, we're going to talk about using math drawings to create arrays, and then we could talk about the rows and the columns and relate it to repeated addition. So our learning goal for today says, I can use math drawings to model an array using square tiles that I've drawn and relate it to repeated addition. So friends, in our lesson today, when we're talking about using square tiles, we're actually not going to use our tiles that we've been using in the previous lesson. We're actually going to draw those onto a grid that has squares on them. So you'll see when we get into the materials that you'll need. So the materials that you'll need for this lesson are your problem set. We're actually going to complete this together, so make sure that you grab that. And then once you finish this lesson, you'll be almost done with your problem set. Pretty cool. You'll need crayons or colored pencils. And then again, there's your problem set. And notice how it has those grids on there? That's actually what we're going to be shading or coloring today. All right, so let's jump in and look at problem 1. It says shade an array with 2 rows of 3. So take a look at problem 1. What do you see? Just when you look right here, what do you see at this picture right here? Yes, you might see just a large rectangle, right? You might say maybe a lot of squares inside the large rectangle, or just an array. Okay, so any of those ideas are what we could say we see as this picture. Problem 1 says shade an array with 2 rows of 3. Are we going to shade the whole rectangle? Nope, we sure aren't, right? Let's start with the upper left-hand corner. So how many squares are we going to shade in the first row? 3 squares. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Here's my 3 squares. So pause the video, and I want you to draw in the first 3 squares. Choose any color that you'd like. Draw just the first row, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so what should we do next? Yeah, we're going to color another row of 3 under the first row. So here we go. 1. Oh, sorry. Let's do this and shade it with a different color than green, or whatever color you use first. So I'm going to use blue. 1, 2, 3. So pause the video, use a second color, and shade in your next row. And then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, here we go. All right, so now you're going to write a repeated addition equation for the array. Now for this one, friends, I don't want you to label your array that's talking about the columns. We're talking about rows for this problem, so I want you to write an array that matches the rows in this problem. So pause the video, write your repeated addition equation, make sure you solve it, that's part of the equation, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here's what I came up with. So 3 plus 3 equals 6. I can see that there's 2 rows of 3, so that's why we have 3 plus 3, and that equals 6. All right, so now we're going to look at problem 2. It says shade an array with 4 rows of 3. So how many rows are we going to shade? 4 rows. How many squares do we need to shade in each row? 3 squares. You got it. All right, so shade an array that shows 4 rows of 3. Use a different color for each row. So you're going to pause the video, shade an array of 4 rows of 3 with a different color for each row, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, here we go. All right, so I have 4 rows of 3. Here's 1 row of 3, 2 rows of 3, 3 rows of 3, and 4 rows of 3. Does your array match mine? Okay, awesome. So maybe your colors might be different, but as long as you have 4 rows with 3 in each row, you got it. All right, so now you're going to write a repeated addition equation for the array. Make sure that you're writing where you're describing the rows, not the columns. So pause the video, write your repeated addition equation, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, here we go. So I have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12 because there's 4 rows, so I have 4 addends and 3 in each row. All right, let's look at another one. So problem 3 says shade an array with 5 columns of 4. So how many columns are we going to shade? Yeah, we're going to shade 5 columns. Remember, this one's switching to columns, not rows anymore. So columns go up and down or side to side. What do you think? Yeah, they go up and down, right? Okay, so how many columns are we going to shade? Yeah, we're going to shade 5 columns. How many squares do we need to shade in each column? 4, because it's 5 columns of 4. So 4 squares. All right, so now you're going to shade an array that shows 5 columns of 4. Use a different color for each row. So pause the video, draw your array that matches 5 columns of 4, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here's my array. So I have 1 column of 4, 2 columns of 4, 3 columns of 4, 4 columns of 4, and 5 columns of 4. All right, so does your array match mine? Okay, awesome. All right, so now you're going to write the repeated addition equation for the array. So pause the video, write your repeated addition equation, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here's my repeated addition equation. So I know that I have, for this one I'm talking about columns. So I know that I have 5 columns with 4 in each column. So that means I need 5 addends. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 20. Okay. All right, so now we're going to look at problem 4, which is a different problem than either one that we've been doing so far. So it says draw 1 more column of 2 to make a new array. So remember, columns go up and down. So you need to pause the video. You're going to draw 1 more column of 2 to make a new array. Okay, so draw your new column in and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, so here's what it looks like when I drew 1 more column. There it is. Make sure that you should have 2 in each column because that is what matches the other columns. All right, so how many columns are there now? Yeah, we have 5 columns. How many columns are how many in each column? Yeah, 2 squares. So yes, each column has a group or unit of 2. How many 2s are there all together? Is there 1 2, 2 2s, like a tutu, like a ballerina? I cracked myself up. Okay, but how many 2s are there all together in this array? Yeah, there's 5 2s because there's 5 columns. So you're going to write the repeated addition equation for the new array. So pause the video, write your repeated addition equation, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so we're talking about columns. So I want to have, there's 5 columns, so that means 5 addends. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 10. All right, so friends, you're going to complete problems 5 and 6 and review your work with your learning guide. Okay, so make sure that you do that. And then you'll be done with the lesson. But for now, we're done with our concept development video. So genius, you guys are awesome with using math drawings to model arrays using those square tiles that you've drawn and relating it to repeated addition. So great job with that, friends. Please head back on over to the module to see what you need to complete for your independent practice. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, friends!